know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the ninth inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here I'm scream. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I'll get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. Looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me. Swear to God, man, I'ma make it soon. Silence all the haters as they see us making moves. I do what I want, so I got nothing to prove. Staying motivated, teaching others what to do. I'm staying focused, my mind is open. They start to notice that I'm in motion. There is no potion, you're not just chosen. It takes devotion to stay composed, man. Never stop, there ain't no time to fall. Try to live, get it all. You got one life to pop. Thinking big, never small, cause you gotta want it all. When you finally get that call, you get ready, take it on. Need a hand out, I already stand out. Starting to advance now, ready to expand now. You don't have a chance now, cause we're in demand now. Make it by the grand now, feeling in command now. They're looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm super excited because, surprise, I have the one and only Nick Boslow hanging out with me today. And if you guys remember, there's this Dying Breed community up top where we have Warrior Bernard, Fighters Maxwell Foster Q, and of course, Nick is right up there in that top corner for our soldiers. Nick, Little Panda Aiden, who's also in the chat, Unwired, and of course, Defenders LG, Jodan, Miss Aoife, Wilkie, and Landry, our two newest Patreon members. So a shout out to the Patreon community. Thank you so much. But Nick, dude, it's so good to hang out with you, man.
It's good to be here, TJ. Thanks, pal.
Absolutely. So what's really funny is this is the first time that you and I have ever talked live, like video or anything.
Yeah.
But you were actually one of my first supporters. And what I mean that is you had won, I believe, a digital copy of the Dying Breed from Gildify Con. You and I started talking before Ryan Maxwell, before Brian Norton. So you've been a huge fan and supporter of me. And now I get to be a huge fan and supporter of you, dude. So thanks.
I have, mate. I've really liked your work. You know, the Dying Breed series and how that kicked off and sort of like it all started. And then obviously your very grim, dark series that you've been publishing on Royal Road. And now obviously you've got Golem Master, and you know the star of the show is now sat here in front of you. So
dude, I was like, because you and I had sent some sound clips back and forth, and when I heard your accent, your voice, I was like, oh, I just imagine Nick narrating a soccer match or a Golem match, and so I was like, this is exactly the role that I want you in. And you're of course paired up with JD.
Yeah.
Which is funny. One of these days we will have to get both of you guys on the stream.
Yeah, get us reading from the book.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Richie Stevens in the chat, who's also Principal Stevens. Oh, snap. Professor Lombardi is live. Can't wait to see what he has in store for us today. Little Panda Aiden, hail TJ, and of course, Warrior Bernard is stuck at work, but sends a hail and all the support spiritually. So, thank you guys. We really appreciate you guys. And of course, a huge hail, Nick, giving you some love. And Ryan Maxwell, what? Let's go, Nick and TJ. JD's coming in. Your co-host is coming in saying, go get it. And of course, Richie's saying, shout out to the Nick Boslow. So, I wanted you to come on. I'm not going to lie, man. I was really worried. I was like, someone needs to check on Nick because I'm sitting here writing early this morning. I had a restless night of sleep. I got up super early. So I'm just slowly typing away and I'm just getting these emails of bling chapter in Patreon, bling chapter in Patreon. And you're dropping like 5 chapters today. I'm like, is this dude even sleeping? Like someone needs to check on Nick and make sure he's okay.
No, I am sleeping. I am sleeping. I might not look like it because I've got massive bags under my eyes at the moment. But that's because I've got a bit of a bad back at the moment. So I'm doing a Michael Head impression propped up on pillows in bed. But yeah, no, I'm doing well. I've since the Mummy Hughes took over with One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest. It's just been unstoppable. Started writing it in February, and I'm at 201,000 words now.
Dude, so that's insane.
It's just there constantly. It just won't go away. So I've got to keep writing, otherwise my head will just explode basically.
So it's funny because you sound exactly like what Jessica Gio and I were talking about when he interviewed me, a year ago. And I said, there's this difference when you go from passion into obsession and you just are mentally there 24/7. And that's exactly what it sounds like you got.
Yeah, it is. It's like, I'm coming in from work and I'll jump on my laptop and I can guarantee that I can sort of like bang out about 1,500 words without even thinking about it because it's just been there going around in my brain the whole day. So yeah, just enjoying it at the moment, just enjoying it so much. And yeah, it's just good fun.
So are you okay if we share your stats over here on Royal Road?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I got this awesome story popped up over here. And dude, you got 35,000 views, 402 followers, 76 have favorited it with 39 ratings. And dude, you're crushing it with this 4.58 rating, man. That's just so awesome to see.
Yeah, the ratings are quite funny actually because I've had a couple of quite poor ones. I got a 0.5 dropped on me, but as soon as you get a 0.5 rating, you normally know you're doing quite well. But
yeah, someone's either jealous or spiteful or something.
Yeah, and I've had a couple of people that have sort of commented on a couple of the early chapters saying, "Oh, Dave's so annoying," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's supposed to be because that's the whole point. The relationship develops between them as the book goes on. But I think at some point I might go back and revisit a couple of the early chapters and just sort of rework some of them slightly. But for now, I'm just plowing on doing what I'm doing. I think I've finished chapter 63 this morning, and I think I've got about 44 released on Royal Road. So,
oh my gosh, dude, oops. Where do I need to go back to? There we go. That's just crazy, man. It's crazy to see how you're really getting some traction because, I started to I read, Fight or Flight, which I loved your characters in that. I love the world building. And so then you started book 2, but it never seemed like you were really getting any traction. And then all of a sudden you drop, One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest, and it just is slowly, gradually continuing to build into what it is.
Yeah, it's the thing with Wild Ones, my series, the Wild Ones series.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Wild Ones.
Yeah, but Fight or Flight and then Enlightened, the first 2 books. They were very specific. They weren't for everybody because of the content and everything else in them. And that's why I thought I just needed to do something a little bit different. And I just had this random idea of creating a Fey assassin, and it all stemmed from there basically. And it still is stemming from there, and it's still going because I've not got to the end of the first sort of what I'd class as book yet. But I will get there eventually. As I say, I've probably about another 20,000 words, and I'll probably finish it. Well, where there can be a natural break in it at least.
Right now, was there anything different to your approach from the Wild One series to this that you changed? Because I think the other thing too is, you started Fight or Flight a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you already had a lot of writing under your belt, and then you rewrote Fight or Flight, went into book 2, and now you have this. So you actually have quite a bit of writing experience, but did you change anything?
No. I am a total pantser. I'll have ideas in my head. I've got nothing planned. I've got nothing written down. I've not even created an Excel sheet properly for One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest. I'll sit down and I'll go, oh, actually, yeah. And I'll start typing a chapter. And then the next thing, I'll go off on a complete tangent and start typing another chapter. And then the story just merges and it all just comes back together. So no, I've not really changed anything. I know when one of the first conversations we had a long time ago, when you sort of like showed me some of your storyboarding and stuff like that. And I've tried it. I'll be honest, I did try it. And then, yeah, I just ignored it and carried on doing what I was doing. It's just not for me. I can't focus on those sort of parts for that. I just want to get the story out, if that makes sense.
Do you even have an end goal or idea of how it will end?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you
I
at least know like
goal.
where the finish line is.
Oh yeah, I know where the finish line is, but the finish line could be, because of the way that I've set up the story, the finish line could be in 1 book, 10 books, 100 books, because of the way that the sort of like the whole thing's been set up. So, but I do have something that can end it as and when is necessary.
Yeah, you always need to have a nuclear option of like, and they died. Everyone died. I guess that'd be more of a bloodbath setup. So Ryan's coming in saying One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest is an absolute must read. Some OG lit RPG style with a bit of a slower pace that really grabs you and makes you feel like you are SJ herself. And then of course, and Dave. What can I say? But everyone knows a Dave. How did you base Dave off of? Like, was there a certain person in your life and experience that you kind of use as an influence?
I wouldn't say specifically one person. I'd say it's probably an amalgamation of several people.
Okay.
There is always that one person in your life that will wind you up, that will annoy you, that you will want to kill 24/7, but if the shit ever hits, they will be there for you and they will support you 110%. And that's sort of the sort of like the character that I was trying to develop and build up, and the relationship between Dave and SJ as it progresses through the story. He where I'm up to now, and I'm not going to sort of like give any spoilers, but their interaction's completely different than what it was in the first sort of like 9 chapters of the book, because their whole sort of like relationships changed and how they actually see each other and how they communicate with each other. But it was just based on sort of like all those comments and those quips and those things that you hear off people, and those people that you do want to strangle until you actually need their help.
I mean, sometimes my buddy and I, we used to kind of refer to those people as dead hooker friends, where you only call them when you have a dead hooker that you need to get rid of.
Yeah.
But other than that, you kind of keep your distance.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. I'm so excited. So like, I mean, when you're obsessed, you just find the time to write. But what kind of is your routine that you're able to crank out so many words?
Well, I work full time as a teacher, so normally when I get in from work, depending on what we're doing after school, before the wife gets in from work, I'll sit down and try and jump on one of the sprints, whatever, and do a little bit on one of the sprints. And then in the evenings, once tea, all the rest of it, I'll be sat on my laptop. The wife's sat chilling out, watching OK dramas, and I'll just be hammering the keyboard until normally about 9 o'clock, when it's then time to go to bed because I'm awake again at sort of like 4:30, 5 the next morning. So yeah, it's just as and when I find the time, basically. And then weekends are, I'd say weekends are my normal writing time. Well, I'll try and at least get 2-3 chapters written. But it just depends. There's no guarantee, because it's like today I've hardly written anything, but tomorrow I'll probably get through about 3 chapters. So it just varies from day to day, to be honest.
That's
But
awesome.
I do write at least something every single day.
Do you ever, because with Golem Master, I've almost done, I don't like Panther, I'm just going to say Discovery. I've almost done Discovery throughout the majority of it, where I'll write a chapter, I'll stop, and then I'll ask myself, what do I want to have happen next? Or what would be something completely different from what they just read? And I try to think outside the box. Do you take any breaks to reflect and think? Or is it just the first idea that comes into your head that you run with?
Oh no, it's not the first idea. I was writing a chapter yesterday, and literally I got to a point in it where what I'd expected to happen didn't happen. And it totally changed direction as I was writing the chapter. And I suddenly decided that rather than what I was going to make happen, it changed completely. And I then turned the story in a completely different direction. So it's like, it's just one of those things. It's because I don't sort of think ahead. I say I've got rough ideas of what I'm going to do, and don't get me wrong, from one chapter to the next, I can sort of see a step that I'm going to take. But literally, what I'm typing, it could change quite easily from 1 second to the next in some cases.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome, man. So now, I know for me, there's been times where I've been writing, and I will have like random thoughts of like, oh, that's another great idea for a book, or that's a great idea for a book. Have you also had that where you have to run to the notepad and jot down all these different ideas?
I've had sort of like a couple of moments where I've thought about other bits and pieces, and obviously at some point I do want to return back to the Wild One series, and also When Gods Fall, which is just a little short that I started doing for one of the Royal Road things.
Mm-hmm.
And completely different. That's not lit RPG. That's sort of like a sci-fi type thing. And I will probably dive back into those at some point, but at the moment I can't get the fairy assassin out of my head, and because of that, that's sort of like the main focus, and I've not really had any major thoughts of anything else at this moment in time.
Nice. That's awesome. I mean, that's where I think when you get to that point of like, you know what, I don't care. I love this, and this is what I'm going to write. And if you guys want to hang out on the journey, cool. And you just enjoy it, and you almost have a lot less stress.
It's really strange because it's Ryan's fault. I blame Ryan completely for this, because I chat to Ryan most days, to be perfectly honest. Well, virtually every day. Yeah, I'd say probably every day. At some point, there'll be some message goes backwards and forwards. And I blame him because he's the one that said you've got to get this out there. You've got to start putting it out there. So I did, and then I've been humbled, amazed, flabbergasted. I just can't think of the words to describe. Since I put it on Royal Road, and the way that it's just started to go up and up and up. I made it. It was one of my friends on Discord mentioned to me that I'd made it onto one of the Rising Stars subcategories, and I was like, "Am I?" And I went and had a look, and like I was on the comedy subcategory in sort of like about 26th place or something like that. And I was like, "Wow!" I was just absolutely gobsmacked and amazed. And then Then they messaged me and said, "You're on 2 categories." I was like, "What?" And I'd snuck onto another category, and then all of a sudden I'm on 4 categories, and the next thing I'm actually on the Rising Stars front page, and my head's just like, I was like, what is going on here? It's so bizarre. It's such a bizarre feeling to know that people are actually reading it. You know, it's it's a great feeling. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those feelings that you can't really explain it, because you're like, are they really enjoying it, or are they just, you know, flicking through pages? Because one thing that I do find, particularly on Royal Road, is, and like I've had an absolutely phenomenal comment off one of the guys today on my latest chapter I've released. I was blown away by it, but there's sort of like, a lot of the time you don't get a great deal of feedback, so you don't actually know if you're hitting the right mark. And don't get me wrong, the guys that say thank you for the chapter and all the rest of it, they're absolutely brilliant, because it gives you that little comfort zone and sort of like ticking the box. But the comment I had today off the guy in my last chapter I released, I was just like, I was absolutely blown away.
Swebby?
Yeah.
Just binged this whole story, and I just wish there was even more. Love it!
Yeah.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, it's great, because it makes it feel all worthwhile. And don't get me wrong, even if I only had, if I'd only got 2 followers and like 10 page views, I'd still be writing it, because I've got to get it out of my head. It's just the fact that now I've got even more of I suppose, of an emphasis to just keep doing it and keep pushing more and more for it.
I think, you know, it's interesting how much, like you said, no matter what, we would still be here, we would still be writing, because we just love what we're doing.
Yeah.
But when you get that feedback, how much it means. I had we had a mission at work. So some of you guys know, I think Nick knows a little bit of what I do. We had this mission at work, and the commander in front of the entire room said, hey, just so you guys know, like, all of this work of the prep came from TJ. And he, you know, verbally praised me. I was not even in the room, but I had 3 different individuals from the organization all come up to me individually the next day and said, dude, he personally praised you. But I didn't have my boss tell me. And because my boss, he's now in a different position. Well, the thing is that I told people, I said, look, if your wife did not stop, like if she tells you I love you every day, and then all of a sudden it stops, about a couple of days in, you'd be like, did I not take the trash out? Did I not do what? Something's different here. And so, like, when you get that feedback from readers, it's like, you know what? I'm so glad this time and energy and effort is worth it, because this person just told me they love this story.
It's just a unexplainable feeling. It really is. It's just one of those. It's just really strange. You sort of like, I don't know. You feel. Try to think of the word to describe it. Not justified. That's the wrong word. But you feel. I don't know. I say the main thing I felt, to be more than anything, is humbled. I've just felt so humble that people are actually enjoying my story and enjoying my creation, and just having that little bit of recognition and that support, it just means the world to you. And it's really strange. And even if you're not seeing it, you know, just seeing the figures as they've gone up over the last couple of days in particular, it's just been amazing. It's an amazing feeling. You just can't explain it. It's really hard.
It really helps you, like, with the imposter syndrome, right? Of like, oh, am I really an author? Am I really doing this? And then when you have people just commenting and rating and telling you, like, hey, I love this, what's going to happen next? You're like, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it does. It really helps. I say, you know, I'm just waiting for the same thing to happen with your new series that you're currently working on.
We'll get there in just a second. Let's get to some comments. It's all about the journey. Hey, y'all, the more fun you're having, hopefully, the more people jump on to enjoy it with you. Excitement is contagious. Dude, I'm super excited for you too, Rob. I really am. Wilkie's coming in. It's more difficult for me to do the physical reading because of my job, which has me driving all day. Wishing Royal Road had an audiobook reader so I could listen to more of their books. You know what? I 100% understand, Kyle. I really do. So, yeah, man, it's okay. So like you brought up with Golem Master, I guess today I stopped right at 31,111 words. And I was like, yeah,
Nice.
that's a pretty good number to stop at. And that brings March's total to 25,000, which has been a great feeling because that's only half of the month, and that's a decent amount to knock out. But I think, kind of like we talked about, is I have had so much fun writing this series or story, this not series even. When I wrote book 3 of Bloodbath, I was exhausted. I was tired. And though I enjoyed certain parts of it, I was more dreading it of like, dude, just sit down, write. And there were some mornings where I was only getting like 1,000 words in. And I was like, okay, well, that's good enough. I'll do it later. And now it's just like, oh my gosh, I love being with Pepper and I love the different characters that are coming in, and it's so exciting. And there's times where I'm afraid I'm going too slow in the pace and the flow of things. But at the same time, I'm like, no, man, like I really want to build out these characters, build out this world. And some of the lit RPG elements aren't really big and upfront, but they will be eventually.
Yeah, well, it's progressive, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's something that's going to gradually build up, and that's no different to mine. It's the fact the first few chapters are they're not slow per se, but they're focusing on that initial in a new world type scenario, and the relationship starts to sort of develop. Well, the sarcasm starts to develop in the first few chapters, but I understand exactly what you mean. You want to spend the time on it and create the characters the way that you want them to be seen by everyone else. You don't want to try and rush things and just sprint ahead, because you'll end up missing something that later on in the story you're probably going to regret.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's really interesting. I didn't expect Ryan's character, as Brandon was saying on the Patreon, he's like, there's some Mr. Miyagi vibes going on here. And I was like, I didn't really ever think of Ryan being like kind of transitioning into that perspective. But at the same time, as I was writing and discovering that scene, I was just like, yeah, I love this natural counterbalance to what happened earlier. So it's just been so much fun to write. And that's where even this morning I was like, no, we're going to sit down and write some more. And it's one of those things where, okay, I need to go grocery shopping or I need to go do this. And you hate being away from the computer because you just want to keep writing.
Yeah, I must admit, I get like that as well. Especially sort of like you're mid-flow and then the wife will be like, oh, can you just pop to the shops? It's like, oh, no.
Not right now.
No, can you wait? I've just got to finish this. Or the dog needs to go for a walk. Or, well, actually, the dog normally just jumps on me and disturbs me, but that's why she's locked out of the room at the moment. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. You just want to focus on it. You just want to do what and you just cut those other bits out. You don't need to eat. You don't need to worry about going to the shops. Don't worry about that. Just get the writing done instead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
as long as you've got your stash of energy drinks, you'll be fine, TJ.
Speaking of which, as you guys can see, I've got the 3D Alpha Land today because I want to go with the yellow Golem Master theme. And that's a great transition, man. We should definitely do this co-hosting more often. See, you are a perfect role in Golem Master. To give you all the update, sour bucked energy. I was a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I was a little disappointed. It wasn't as good as the rain energy sour gummy worm. So I would definitely recommend the rain over the bucked up. But then I discovered something last Sunday. And this is Ghost Straw Bango Margarita. Oh my God, this is amazing. Strawberry margarita flavor. There was only one on the shelf, and now I want to go fight a deity to get more because it was that good. So, yeah, I got plenty of energy drinks. I literally have 5 cases on top of the fridge. But I also did do what I said I would do, and I started drinking coffee. And I went with the Folgers Classic Roast, and now I truly understand why we won World War II, because if Grandpa had to drink that bullshit every morning, I would be pissed off and just want to blow up everything in Europe. So, John A. Douglas coming in. Good afternoon, and Silly Billy. Is that it? Did I do the thing? Sure. Yeah, John. You're doing great. John, make sure you check your Facebook. Let's see if you saw it. You did not see it. So, John, check your Facebook. I sent you an excerpt from Golem Master, my latest book about your character and your Runecast podcast. So you need to go check it out. Make sure you're good with your character. Actually, I don't care if you're good with your character. It is what it is. That you're in the book. So I was disappointed with the rain sherbet flavor. It tasted like chemicals. Okay, Ryan. I don't know if you were on last stream, but if you were, you would have noticed there was no rain sherbet flavor mentioned. So there was a reason for that, because it's a negative review. But TJ, thought you moved from energy drinks to coffee, but you have backslidden. No. Okay. Blasphemy. So the problem I have is I ran out of milk, because I've been using whole milk for my creamer, because I don't like the oils that are in the other coffee creamers. I think it's disgusting. So I ran out of milk, number one. And number two, the sweetener that I use is raw organic honey from in the local area. And in order to get over the disgusting motor oil flavor of Folgers coffee, I've had to use a giant like ice cream scoop size of honey to sweeten it. So I'm like running out of honey. So I haven't gone to the grocery store yet, but I still have my caffeine on tap, my crack in a can. Crazy. Rain has become my go-to for the last week and a half now. I also tried G Fuel and was disappointed. Yes, again, the G Fuel, as you noticed, was not mentioned last week because I've already tried it and it got a negative review. It's not backsliding if you come to the loving embrace of the light side that is energy drinks. If you drink enough and start writing, you will be able to see a deity within the text. Oh my God. So awesome. Dude, Nick, what else you want to talk about, man? This is kind of your hangout episode. What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? I don't know. I want to know about the Dime breed from a very sort of like selfish perspective.
Like, when's it gonna be finished? Oh, dude, you put me on the hot seat. Did you read any of book 4 or the Red Flag Army on Patreon?
Not the Red Flag Army, no. No, I've not read any book 4 on Patreon.
Okay, so but you've read book 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, where the armies were set up in the region, and if you remember, I believe it was actually at the end of book 2 where they talked about how they were seeing some movements in different regions, getting reports of movements. So the Red Flag Army is the side story of one of the keeps up north of Lithrum. And it's actually a Miss Geneva from Gildify Con, who's also in Legion. Her character is a part of that side story. And then Q's character is also a part of that side story. I've got, I think, 20,000 plus words written in that. And it was one of those things where I just fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with building this backstory of what this Red Flag Army was. So I started writing that. And then I was like, you know what? I can make this a novella and then put it in the back as well, just like I did with Thievery.
Thievery, yeah.
Yeah, so I am really close to finishing that side story. And I was really close to finishing the backstory of Emmanuel and how he got linked up with Klipkoshek and how Golgoth was all interwoven in there. So I got to that point, and that's when I started writing Bloodbath. Now, I've talked to one or two other authors, and the reality is The Dying Breed Enslavement has only sold 3 copies. And not a single person has read it on Kindle Unlimited. Not a single KDP page, right? So in reality, the series you could say is a dead series. It's just not getting any traction. There's no momentum building. And so that's where it's like, you know what? This is just kind of like probably a weekend project where, hey, I really want to take a break from Golem Master right now. Give myself a breather for a second. Okay, let's go jump in and finish 2 chapters of The Dying Breed. And let's slowly move that along. So that's reason why, I mean, we're probably at 80,000 words total when you add in the side story of book 4.
Hmm.
And I still got probably another 80 to 100,000 words to write. So it's one of those things where, yeah, if I was writing full time, I could finish it next month and no one would really care. But right now, the momentum and the traction is with Golem Master. And so that's where I've been devoting the time.
Yeah, no, it's totally understandable, mate. That's why I put World Ones on hold.
Yeah.
Was because it never gained traction because of because of the content and everything in it, because it is so, even though it is the lit RPG element doesn't really kick in properly until book 2 of the Wild One series, and because of that, I think book 1 didn't pick up the sort of like the following that it potentially could have, because it was more of the story based of the original story I wrote back in 21. So yeah, I understand completely what you mean, but say Golem Master, I'm loving Golem Master at the moment in the way that that's starting to develop. So it'll be great to see where that goes. How long do you think you're going to end up with it? How many words? You got a sort of like a word count in your head?
You know, honestly, there have been times where I've been afraid that I'm actually pacing too quickly with where the like kind of the end goal of book 1 is supposed to be. But I don't actually have a word count set. I was like, you know what, let's just keep going. And what's really fun though is you don't really know much about the Golem League, really. I feel like you understand, like, okay, there's a Pantheon League, there's the Immortals League, and then he starts to talk about the clubs and the region, and then there's the Promina League, I want to say, is the middle tier. And so that's where it's like people don't really know. And so I'm close to getting to the point where Pepper will explain to another character, like, here's exactly how the league was formed. Here's exactly the size of it. And when it comes to the regionals, you actually have a regional within the United States, but then you also have regionals within every country. And then every country is within the Promina, within like, kind of like you have the European Union, you have the Middle Eastern countries are in the Promina leagues. So once you get from the Promina up into the Immortals, that's when you really have the champions of the champions. And so a lot of that stuff still needs to be explained. And so I'm like, okay, let's continue to build this and let's continue to grow this world so that by the end of book 1, you're just like, holy shit, this really is huge. This really is vast. The 2 things that I love is I was talking to another author 2 days ago, and a lot of people have been giving the feedback of like, this is so much like Pokemon vibes.
Yeah.
And that flavor.
Yeah.
I figured out how it can become even more Pokemon-ish. And I was like, okay, how do I do this with runes? And so I'm like, and I literally made this PowerPoint graph and I sent the screenshot to the author. I'm like, does this make sense? And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm like, cool. I have fucking Pokemon, but in golems. So more than likely, what got me excited is, you know, that's a part of the discovery is because you necessarily haven't planned out every detail as you go, you mentally are asking yourself these questions of like, how do I explain these things and how do I adjust these? So I was like, okay, well, here's how I can make it more Pokemonish. And then from there, I was like, holy shit, that's the next stage. Like that what happens in that build is what can set up the next big major thing within the world. So that's where I originally thought of like, okay, this could be 3 books. but I'm also at the point of like, you know what? Just keep writing and just keep going in the development that I want, and let the story tell me when it's time to have a separation of from this is the end of this book and this is when the next one needs to be.
Yeah,
I would say the other fun thing about Golem Master is it allows me to be so creative every single battle. And did you read the Stephen Landry's battle with Shammy?
I can't remember what chapter that was.
I want to say it's chapter 5.
Did I read that one? I can't remember if I've read read that chapter 5. I think the last chapter I read was chapter 7.
Okay, then yeah, it happened before that.
Yeah, chapter 7 is the one I've read, because I know you've put another one out, but I've not read that yet.
Yeah, chapter 5. So like we had the first chapter or the prologue where we see Panda Cakes going up against James's Iron Ram.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 5, you've got Stephen Landry versus Shammy. What I love about it is it allows me to be so unique and creative. And if you remember, the way that it's set up is after the match is over, that's when the gladiators get to release their stats of the golem. So each gladiator gets to change it up. So it's like, dude, you know what? Steven had a Yeti in this match. What if he comes out with a giant rock serpent and it blows everyone away? And they're like, holy cow. He's like, yeah, I've been working on this one in secret. And so like Pokemon, you get to adjust your golems in between the matches. So it allows it so much more fun and creative. Like, I don't want him to have a battle axe in this battle. Let's have him have a machine gun that shoots ethereal energy.
I was going to say, you've definitely got the ability to just keep adapting it and doing what you want with that series, the way that it started. It is so open for sort of like the creation. I think it's a great little read. It really is, from what you've released so far.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to be interested to see where it actually ends up going, to be honest, because it's got putting it quite bluntly, compared to your Grimdark, it's a completely different take.
Yeah, that's like the part that I'm really nervous about, is like, oh my gosh, like I just read Golem Master book 1, like this is so great. I'm gonna go read Bloodbath. Like, no, you're gonna hate me.
I was gonna say, yeah, Bloodbath and Slaughterhouse, and it's like, yeah, it's on a completely different level. Did that?
I'm so glad I didn't have drink in my mouth. I would have spit it out.
Did that guy get in touch with you, by the way, about the military stuff?
Did the what?
Did the guy get in touch with you about the military details or not?
I haven't
He
heard.
hasn't got in touch with you yet. Okay.
No.
No.
So, all right, let's get.
As soon as he said he mentioned somebody, I was like, as soon as he said that he's mentioned after someone that was sort of like military and sort of like making sure that stuff read properly and was written properly, I thought TJ could do that.
Yeah. Well, I had the guy who's been doing the edits for Bloodbath. I was like, I said something of like, hey, I'm 5 mic out. And he's like, wouldn't it be mics because it's minutes? I'm like, no, we would make fun of you for sounding retarded if you did that in the military. It's just 5 mic. Mic for minutes.
Yeah.
Anyways. So there's those little nuances where people are like, well, I think it should be this. I'm like, you weren't in the military. Shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, all right, Big Rob coming in. A milk drinker. See what Skyrim guards say about that. My wife loves the orange ghost. Yeah. I'm just saying. Nick, with 47 chapters on One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest under your belt, what obstacles hinder your consistent posting schedule, and what strategies have worked for you?
There's been no obstacles up until next month, and they will start. And I've actually put a comment out that I'm going to start reducing my releases down to 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's purely because I'm in my 5th year of a part-time degree. So I'm doing a degree at the same time as teaching, at the same time as writing, and I've got some assignments that I've got to get completed before the end of April, basically. So I'm going to potentially have to step back. and reduced my releases. I was hopefully trying to build up, having a bit of a buffer where I could try and keep doing it daily, because I love being able to do it daily, because at the end of the day, if you can keep that momentum going, it's absolutely amazing. And it's also better for the readers that you keep that sort of like followership and readers base, if they know that they're going to be getting a chapter every single day. But no, I probably will have to step back to 3 times a week in April. I'll see how I go. I'll see how I go. You know, I could type another 50,000 words tomorrow, and then I'll be fine.
Yeah. Just pull a Brian Norton, and just out of nowhere, you pull 50,000 words out of your ass. You guys in your writing speed, man. Again, like I said, that's where I was like, I need to check on Nick. Like, is everything okay? He's writing so much.
Well, my average when I'm typing, I'm normally doing about, I'd say normally 37 to 40 words a minute.
Jeez.
So when I do the sprint,
So 2,400 words in an hour.
Yeah.
Weird, Brian. Great to see you guys. Okay, what a time to come in and hear my name. Yeah, because you just pulled out that 50,000 words out of nowhere. Like, oh, this 50,000 words? Timo Burnham, howdy. Just stopping by to say what's up. Got to run. Well, thanks for stopping in, Timo. I appreciate you. Stephen Landry with the Yeti. Heck yeah, dude. I think I need to. I think I want to rewrite your scene with Shammy, where I'm like, you know, talking about your leather jacket and black sunglasses, like you just got out of a rock concert, and you literally do the rock horns. But I want to add that in there, I think. Golem Master plus Bloodbath equals ruined innocence. I don't know if I would want to do that. I mean,
that's going to be your next series, Ruined Innocence.
Actually, no, there is another series that I almost started writing before Golem Master that was even darker than Bloodbath. So I was like, and you know, it's just like, wow, how can you get much darker? Oh, you can. You can.
Yeah, you can go very dark when you need to, yeah.
There's been a couple times, I'm not going to lie, where I've been writing Golem Master and I almost was like, and fuck you. No, I can't write that. Backspace. I don't like you right now. So it's been a little bit of a challenge to pull back on all of the adult content that I'm used to writing. Angel Ramon coming in, just saying hi. Hope you both are doing well. Well, thanks, Angel. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for all your support. So yeah, dude. So that's all I've really got. I mean, the Dying Breed, Golem Master. I do agree with you though. So I just finished, I think it's chapter 11, and I posted chapter 8 on Patreon. Mm-hmm. I really do enjoy releasing a chapter a day, kind of for the same thing, but it's just like, I'm so excited about it that I just want to put it out there and share it with the Patreon members.
Yeah.
But I'm still torn if I want. Yeah, I'm still just torn if I want to put it on Royal Road though. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you don't have to. You know, there's no reason to. You know, Royal Road. From my perspective, I've been very lucky on this, on my latest release. But it can be it's a very different place. And depending, and I don't just post on Royal Road. I post on a few places.
Well, that's right. You were also doing Wattpad.
No, not Wattpad. No. I took everything off. I took everything off Wattpad. I've got stuff on Scribble Hub, or I've got it on Scribble Hub, and I've also started dropping chapters on Space Battles. But they're much further behind where I am with Royal Road because I started releasing it on Royal Road first. But as I say, Scribble Hub, it's doing okay. But again, I just don't think the metrics are necessarily what they're after. But when you look on something like Space Battles, and you look at the stories on Space Battles and what originated on there, things like Beware of the Chicken and things like that, you're like, wow, you know, Ravensdagger, he's always posted on Space Battles and things like that, updates to all of his stories. But yeah, there's a few places I've sort of like put it out there, but I say not everything has to be Royal Road. It's just that there is obviously a strong community there, and if you can manage to get the right sort of story out there, people start to enjoy it, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Kaylin Wilkinson coming in. Ruined Innocence, Book 1, Blood Golem, coming soon by TJ Lombardi. Oh, there's so much we could do. So much. However, Kaylin, I'm glad you came in, dude. I apologize. I saw you have messaged me, gosh, like a week or two ago, and I have not even looked at your message or gotten back to you. So hopefully you're okay. I feel like you are because you messaged here. But I'll try to check out whatever you sent me, man. So sorry about that. Golem Master, Uncut Gore Edition, Clay and Slay. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Like, what is it? Zack Snyder, where he's just like making other hey, here's a different director cut. Like, dude, just stop. One of the things very helpful for me is Omni Calculator and NaNoWriMo. It breaks down daily averages and word counts and makes an estimate based on your pace. It gives some people anxiety, but makes my process less daunting. Maybe check it out. It's free online. Thanks, bro. Yeah, Wattpad equals sexy edition only. Maybe. See, now my mind is going with like sex golems.
Yeah, don't go there, TJ.
Yeah,
don't go there.
Yeah. The granite against granite is very rough. It's just, I needed a kidney transplant, but you left me hanging. Well, I mean, sounds like, yeah, okay. I don't even know where to go. I can't even think of a sarcastic comeback to you, Kaylin. Sorry. So, oh man, I'm excited, dude. But dude, seriously, congrats on One Flew Over the Dragon's Nest, man. It's been fun to see your success, to see the traction growing for you. And I really hope that you consider submitting this to some other publishing houses or getting this on Amazon, because I think it'll really take off, and I'd love to see that for you.
Yeah, I may do. I may do at some point. I'm just enjoying the process at the moment of writing and creating the story. It's it's all a sort of like a first pass. I've gone back and tinkered with a couple of bits and pieces and added a couple of little bits in, but I'd need to edit it and go back and read it properly myself at some point in the future. But at the moment, I'm just going to keep writing it until I get to the point where I stop, and I've got no idea where that is.
You know what? That's a fun part of the journey, man.
Yeah,
it's a fun part of the journey. All right, you want to stick around for some weekly thoughts, some weekly motivation?
I'll drop off cam, but I'll be staying on if that's all right, mate.
All right, brother. Well, dude, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate that.
No worries. I need to start moving because at the moment my back's seizing up and I'm getting a bit painful. So.
All right, Nick. Well, thanks for hanging out, man.
No, thanks for having me, TJ.
Absolutely. Oh, I think I cut him off a little too soon. My bad. Sorry, Nick. All right. I only got 2 videos, you guys. And honestly, I wasn't really thinking about doing any videos this week. But then the last second, I was like, you know what? Let's bring on Nick. Let's hang out with Nick. But I do have 2 videos that I figure I can share with us. And actually, I think it really goes a lot with what Nick was talking about earlier today. So...
Nothing today I am proud of, nothing today I really appreciate deeply from my heart. Nothing of that came quick. It always involved a lot of sweat and suffering and pushing through and having patience and being persistent, being consistent, not giving up and trusting. All of these things. Nothing today I am proud of, nothing today I really appreciate deeply from my heart. Nothing of that came quick. It always involved a lot of sweat and suffering and pushing through and having patience and being persistent, being consistent, not giving up and trusting. All of these things. Nothing today I am proud of.
Sorry, I'm doing 2 things at once. This is one that I found where, the beautiful thing about potential is the closer you get to reaching it, the further you get from reaching it. Because the more capable you become, the more you become capable of. And man, those are just two huge motivating things for me. And I knew with wanting to bring Nick on and have him hang out with us, that's so many of us on this journey of writing and creating where, you know, you have to just continue to persevere. You have to continue to devote the time, energy, and effort and just trust the process. And how much you appreciate at the end of the time when you get to look and see that completed project. And hopefully you have some readers who enjoy the journey with you. So, yeah, man. Dude, Nick, I know Nick is still hanging out in the background, in the green room, I guess. But, dude, Nick, I'm so proud of you, man. It's like I said, man, it's been so great to see you continue on this journey. And, dude, thanks for hanging out. Like I said, at the very beginning of the stream, before Ryan Maxwell and I connected, before Brian Norden and I connected, Nick and I connected, and Nick was one of the very first supporters that I had coming out of Guildify Con in 2022. So I'm just really grateful for him and his support, and it's been so great to see him continue to push himself to this point and get to where he is now. Golem Trainer. I don't know, man. Golem Nightclub. It's fight night and the mood is right. I appreciate your process and I need to send you some wall art. I'm a little concerned now with what Tony means in wall art. Oh, yeah, because the walls are so bare. Nah, I don't know about that, man. Honestly, it's the fact that I'm in the apartment and I don't want to put anything on the walls and have to patch it up and hear about it when I move out. So hopefully in about a year, I'll be in my house and there will be a ton of artwork. What's really cool, though, is that it'll be a lot of artwork from my books. That's what I'm excited for. And also with the Golem Master series. But yeah, all right, guys. So that's really the updates. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for hanging out with Nick and asking him some of the questions. Golem Master is currently at 31,000 words, and I'm just plugging away. I am up to chapter 11 as of this morning. So for those of you in the Patreon community, The Dying Breed, you guys will start out with chapters 9, 10, and 11, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then hopefully I'll have 12 and 13 done for you. I love all the feedback you guys love, how much you guys are enjoying the story and the world. So definitely, you know, hit me up on the Patreon, leave the comments if you guys have questions or you want to know more about something. I am literally just enjoying the discovery process of this world and the characters. And there's some major events that are going to be happening coming up in the story that I at least have foreplanned. But yeah, guys, it's been awesome. It's been fun. But that's all. That's it. We're in for an hour. And yeah, I'm going to go get some grocery shopping done. And then I'm going to go enjoy my Saturday. So I'll stay on for another minute if you guys have any questions that I can answer really quick. But other than that, I'm about to hang up on y'all. I know that'd be pretty rude. Nick's messaging me in the private chat. Have a good weekend to you too, man. I hope your back recovers very quickly because I know exactly how rough that can be. Unwired Rob, good seeing you, brother. You know what? It's good to see you too, man. Love seeing the photos of the beach. And yes, I am still planning on November. I'm still planning on November to come down and hang out with you, man. So what's really crazy is I could potentially have Golem Master published by the time we go hang out. I could even have book 2 done. If I keep this pace up, that would be fun. Also, cool to hear about them giving you props on that planning. Yes, hang out. Woot. I know, dude. A lot of changes have happened at work recently, but it's for the better. I'm super excited about the future now with where this new direction is going to go. And it just allows me to continue to write, continue to do my thing. What I'm also really excited about is there's a very good potential that it will let me move to a 4-10 schedule. So I get to work 4 10-hour days, and then I would have a 3-day weekend more than likely a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. So that means an extra day to get more writing in. JD Glasscock, just keep chasing your vision. I know, guys. That's all I keep telling myself, and I just keep enjoying the journey. So, all right. It's 10:30. It is time to go get grocery items, and then I'm going to go watch a college lacrosse game and have fun on the weekend. And yes, I will probably do some more writing tonight because that's what happens when you're obsessed. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here on screen. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I'll get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. Looking on me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me. Swear to God, man, I'ma make it soon. Silence all the haters as they see us making moves. I do what I want, so I got nothing to prove. Staying motivated, teaching others what to do. I'm staying focused, my mind is open. They start to notice that I'm in motion. There is no potion, you're not just chosen. It takes devotion to stay composed, man. Never stop, there ain't no time to fall. Try to live, get it up, you got one life to pop. Thinking big, never small, cause you gotta want it all. When you finally get that call, you get ready, take it on. Need a hand out, I already stand out. Starting to advance now, ready to expand now. You don't have a chance now, cause we're in demand now. Make it